Shalom, and welcome back to B'nai Noach Academy, Thoughts on the Torah. Please remember to hit the like button and to subscribe if you haven't done so, and most importantly, to share this wisdom and inspiration with family and friends. When you look at the book of Exodus, chapters 10, 11, 12, especially the end of 12, we read about the Exodus from Egypt. Now, the Exodus from Egypt perhaps is one of the most important, if not the most important theme in the Torah. In fact, how many times in the Torah does the Torah instruct us to remember, quote, the day you left Egypt? Never forget the day you left Egypt. Especially in the life of a Jew, so many observances are directly associated, correlated with the memorial or even outright celebration of the Exodus of Egypt. And the question is, why? Is this the Torah teaching us to live in the past? Is the Torah telling us to dwell on our past pain? We know in the world of psychology, in the world of healing, most important thing is, yes, of course, you have to learn from the past. But more importantly, and perhaps the most important imperative is to be able to move on, to be able to continue life. So why are we living in the past? The answer is that Egypt is not just a geographical location. Let me explain. You see, the Hebrew word for Egypt is Mitzrayim. Now, you all know that a kosher Torah scroll, meaning a real Torah scroll, is not written with vowels. Thus, many times the same word can be read with slightly different vowels, meaning a different pronunciation. Same letters, sometimes even very similar amount of syllables, but it's read differently and it can have a totally different meaning. So the name Mitzrayim, which is Hebrew for Egypt, actually can also be read Meitzarim, which means constraints, boundaries, limitations. Thus, what the Torah is telling us, the act of leaving Egypt is not a one-time act. It wasn't merely about changing locations, about leaving one geographical location and going to another. If it was merely about that, we most probably wouldn't even hear about it, let alone be told to remember it every day. Rather, the Torah is telling us that in life, we have to constantly be, quote, leaving Mitzrayim, leaving Egypt, meaning a person should never get caught up. A person should never get stuck in whatever boundary and limitations that they may get stuck in. Sometimes it can even be a good one. But so how often do we find ourselves after having enjoyed an accomplishment, reaching an achievement, and suddenly we become complacent, we become stuck? In a sense, it's not a geographical location, albeit, but it definitely now is a Mitzrayim. It is a form of Egypt. It's a form of constraint, a form of limitation. We're not moving forward. We're not excelling. We are now stagnant. And thus, the lesson of this is a person needs to constantly be moving forward. A person needs to constantly grow in good deeds, in any achievements in life, any positive achievements in life, especially getting close to God, which obviously good deeds is the main part of it. A person cannot say, well, if this was enough for me yesterday, then it certainly is enough today. I mean, think in terms of technology. Think of the cell phone you use today. Is the cell phone you used 20 years ago enough for today? You wouldn't almost even remember how to use it. I couldn't tell you how to send a text with one of those old flip phones. I don't even remember how to do it. And I certainly will not have the patience to go through it and write a text, correct? Today, the way we do things, we've certainly become more advanced. Well, if that's the case, and that's true in the material things, how much more so in the spiritual, emotional, and psychological aspects of our lives. So don't stay in Egypt. Remember that the most important thing is to leave Egypt.